Actually, a long time has passed since then, but the feelings of excitement and that elusive sensation still linger in my heart. I've never been particularly proactive, but who could help liking you? So, I started chatting with you every day. Whenever I saw your faint smile, a surge of impulse would wash over me, making me want to be close to you. You always seemed distant, while I tried my best to be interesting. Each message I crafted was carefully considered, ensuring it wasn't too much or too bland before sending it. Even a simple greeting would take me a long time to think through. Every day, I would send you a joke, sometimes a funny video, sometimes something I made up. Even if you only replied with an "oh," I didn't mind at all. The feeling of liking someone is truly torturous. I humbly hoped for your response, yet when I got it, I resisted the urge to reply immediately. Though I never had you, it felt like I had lost you countless times. Those confessions I silently rehearsed in my heart felt like heavy stones, weighing down on me. One time, I overheard a friend say you only had messages for me on your phone. At that moment, my heart raced, my face flushed, and my tongue got tangled up. I wanted to explain but couldn't find the words. That sweet embarrassment made me feel like a fool, but I was more than willing to feel that way. As time went on, our close desk-mate relationship gradually faded. In class, seats were assigned by grades, and I was always seated behind you. One day, you suddenly asked who I wanted to sit with, and I tried to play it cool, saying I'd wanted to change seats for a long time, wanting to sit with a friend. In the end, though, I still didn't get my wish. In that moment, I felt a pang of disappointment, sensing that I could never bridge that invisible gap. I remember that day vividly when you stormed out. The sound of the door slamming echoed loudly. The other students in class froze, and a tense atmosphere filled the air. I felt a pang of heartache, but was powerless to do anything. During the time I didn't like you, I joked that I hated you. You looked at me seriously and said, "You'll regret that." That sentence pierced my heart like a needle, leaving me restless. Time and liking someone felt like a curse. I ended up losing to it. Every message you sent, I would screenshot and save. The photos you shared went into a secret album that only I could access. As for the software you recommended, I actually tried it. Even if it felt awkward, I was secretly happy about it. I originally just wanted to find a topic to chat about, but you directed me to a chat app and left me to figure things out myself. My curiosity was uncontrollable, but I was afraid of bothering you. So I began to collect little bits about you, your space, your message board. I wanted to know the stories from your past, or the parts of you I had never seen. Every time you spoke in class, I listened intently, afraid of missing a single word. I would overanalyze everything you said, like I was deciphering a complicated equation. I hid my feelings carefully, fearing that if you knew, you would drift away. Following you into school each day filled me with joy. You always arrived early, and during that period, the first thing I thought of every morning was seeing you. School became particularly beautiful, and mornings turned romantic and lovely. However, the day would come when the paper separating us would finally tear, and you were leaving. When our teacher announced you were transferring, it felt like my heart was being torn apart, and the world turned gray. I was deeply saddened and truly didn't want you to go. I kept asking if you had made up your mind, and your answer was always a firm yes. You probably didn't understand, or even feel a sense of loss. I still remember how you liked to stand alone on the balcony, gazing down at the classroom below. Sunlight would spill over you, as if coating you in a golden glow. In my heart, I silently wished I could stand beside you, sharing every moment. What was there? I didn't know, but I found myself beginning to like that balcony too, enjoying the view of the blue sky while fantasizing about our future together. I find you mysterious. You never say much about yourself. Every time I want to ask you something, I hold back, afraid of disturbing you. Before our farewell, I finally couldn't resist confessing. That secret that had tormented me for months made my hands tremble with excitement. I thought this might be a gamble, at least a faint possibility that you felt the same way. You shared your story with me, the first time you typed so much. You said you came here to escape, and your words were filled with emotion, tinged with sadness. That night, I listened closely. My tears blurred my vision, and the words I wanted to say got stuck in my throat. So I jokingly said, "I was just kidding." But in my heart, I regretted it, wondering how I could brush it off so lightly. I had stabbed my own heart countless times in silence. This time, my reluctance was evident. I always hoped you could feel my emotions, but I was terrified you would pull further away if you did. Every time felt like a roller coaster, and you were the one controlling the throttle. I changed a lot, becoming quiet and reserved. The lively me suddenly lost all enthusiasm, becoming dull and uninteresting. The day after you left, we changed seats. I sat in your former spot, by the window in the fourth row. Every time I saw that empty seat, a bitter pang shot through me. We also moved classrooms. I secretly brought that stack of papers you left on the windowsill to the new room, placing them where you once had them. Looking at those papers, I could almost smell your presence, feeling a warmth mixed with helplessness. In the first week after you left, the classroom felt so empty. The book I wanted to give you could never be delivered, and that copy of No Longer Human became mine. Each time I opened its pages, it seemed to echo your shadow, filling me with nostalgia. Those days felt gray. Since you left, I lost my vitality and happiness. I didn't want to listen in class, nor could I focus. My mind drifted far away. Each lesson felt irrelevant, as if I had entered another world. I started my second diary, vowing to move on from you, but on the very first day, I couldn't resist. I secretly took that stack of papers, hoping to uncover your secrets. Your handwriting felt like a code, stirring my endless curiosity. I saw your doodles in class, the English notes, and the quirky Japanese phrases, each letter shimmering in my mind. Your profile picture was of your favorite anime character, which you later changed. You once said she was the best, and you believed the male lead didn't deserve her. Only during those times could we find common topics to discuss, and I can't express how happy that made me. The story was short, yet filled with regrets. Your figure leaving, along with my inability to say goodbye properly, had long since said farewell in my dreams. Each night, I lay in bed, closing my eyes, recalling the moments we shared, filled with indescribable emotions. I even dreamt you came back, but I no longer needed you. In my dreams, I had learned to let go and find peace. It felt good. Stories must leave some regrets. In the days that followed, I gradually grew accustomed to your absence and learned to move forward. However, your voice and laughter slowly faded with time, becoming unclear. I forgot what you sounded like until I opened my saved messages and found our chats, realizing your voice had become unfamiliar. You were once my greatest secret, a silent wave stirring in my heart. Those days were wild. I checked my horoscope daily, even though I didn't believe in it, hoping for some guidance. But blind effort is just a one-sided superstition. Ultimately, time is the best remedy, allowing me to slowly move past those memories. Later on, after I blocked you on Facebook, you never returned. When I saw your posts again, I knew you were doing well, and I wished you the best. Time will fade everything. According to Ebbinghouse's Forgetting Curve, if we don't revisit memories, we'll only remember 1/5 after a month. In the days that followed, I walked on slowly. I waited for a heavy rain to wash everything away and start anew. The dragon will come, and the hero will too. Yet, in the quiet of midnight, I can't help but remember. I really did like you a lot.